Welcome to the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast, your number one source for making money in the medical ancillary sector. Mike and Viv bring you the latest information from lab services, pharmacy, diagnostic testing, and so much more. The latest in ancillary services will be right around the corner. Welcoming the hosts of the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast, here's Mike and Viv.
Alrighty.
Hello and welcome to the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Berg, and joined, as always, ho ho ho, by Viv Hudson. Merry Christmas, Viv. This is
what are you saying ho about?
This is
Merry
the
Christmas.
last one.
Merry Christmas.
And Viv,
Yes, it is.
I thought this would be a good opportunity. We're at the end of the year here, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to just take a look ahead. I know most people are probably taking a little bit of time off to be with families, which is understandable. But in that week between Christmas and New Year, I know, especially for myself, I'm kind of looking ahead. What does 2017 look like? And I know you had shared in an article that you had just picked up from, what was the publication? I can't even remember.
It's Physicians Practice, so it's quite a good resource for physicians, just finding stuff that's pertinent to physicians that's going on in their space. So
Viv, I know you're very up on these trends. What was the top? What is the top trend for 2017 as an ancillary representative? What are you looking out for in 2017, especially after reading that article?
Right. Well, as we know, physicians are continually fraught with challenge and change in the ways of compliance, coming to terms with technology and how to embrace it in their practice. And that means new equipment, perhaps new EMR systems, or updating them to constantly keep up to date with what the compliance requirements are, and which also means potentially effects in the payment space for physicians as well. So I don't know how this year's going to look like as far as what the reimbursements have come back, whether physicians actually did get a pay increase this year or not. I know the trend at the beginning of the year was that they were facing a pay decrease. I'm not sure that would have improved. But the early adopters are the ones that win. And I guess with any program that doctors put out there, there's always going to be challenges associated with when and how they get paid and where that payment is coming from. So in regards to next year, there's a lot of insurances that are going to be raising their deductibles. So doctors are potentially going to face some challenges with cash flow at the beginning of the year because people on commercial insurance are going to be starting to have to put their hands in their own pockets to be able to pay for their medical requirements. And that can mean sometimes that people don't always have the money, and doctors can be very forgiving and just sit and wait for patients to pay or just forgive their bills sometimes. But that money still comes out of their cash flow. So certainly looking forward, particularly I would say for the first 3 months of the year, cash flow for many practices could be at quite a challenge.
Yeah, I know. We've all been reading about the increased premiums coming next year under the Affordable Care Act, and we just had open enrollment, and I know a lot of people just signed up for new insurance plans, and there was a lot of sticker shock with how much the premiums are going up. So consequently, I think patients are opting to choose plans that may have higher deductibles to keep their monthly premiums down. And what that's going to end up meaning for these physician offices, if they have patients with percentage copays, that's going to put more of an onus on them to collect more money from patients, money that they're not used to collecting. So I think that may come as a shock to them.
Yeah, and obviously that makes any of the programs that we have that are a commercial payer base, that kind of throws them into that arena. So when you're looking at programs like allergy, often they tend to be a little quieter at the beginning of the year, which is a little bit sad because it's kind of leading into springtime when people need their allergy relief. So the best time for them to get on board with allergy, in fact, probably the best thing that patients can do is bowl up to their physician's offices today and get immunotherapy before December 31st. To be able to be ready for spring. But if they're waiting until the beginning of 2017 for physicians to start promoting allergy in their practices, their patients are going to be looking at those co-pays before they embark on those programs, which I guess makes, in a sense, the Medicare programs more of a sensible focus for doctors, because Medicare is going to pay January through to December because it doesn't fall in that same bucket as requiring that high patient out-of-pocket expense. So we do have a number of programs that can fit that bill. So certainly if you're a sales rep out in the sales field, there are different programs that you can be pitching to your doctors to help them get on board with bringing in some new revenue in 2017 for the start of the year.
Well, reading the tea leaves then, Viv, if you are, well, you are in this business. So 2017, if you were to narrow your focus as a rep on just a few programs, give me your top 3 programs that you see kind of going with the flow here in terms of the trends for 2017. What are going to be the easiest programs to promote given the trends?
If you are looking for if you've got a doctor that's looking for quick cash, the best thing that you can do, I can't go past like the ANS device, like the TM Flow, when you're looking at a reimbursement of over $400 per patient. And even at the equipment cost, it doesn't take long for a physician to get their money back. Now, I know sometimes the challenge can be for physicians to be able to borrow that money to get the equipment, but we do have the service model program, which I think is still going to pay the physician, what do we say, 100 to 150 and possibly more per patient leading into the new year. So definitely autonomic nervous system testing. They have a very strong Medicare payment. And obviously with 35% of all patients being diabetics, and probably if we get into the 65 plus year olds, that number could even be higher, that you're going to have a pretty solid patient base to be able to collect, to be able to find patients suitable for that testing. Fall prevention is another one, and then I'd look towards Affordable Care Act programs like the annual wellness visit and chronic care management. So and those 2 particular programs will assist doctors in getting becoming more macro compliant as well. So macro is going to be a big focus that's going to help drive quality and compliance moving into 2017, and certainly that's going to be another challenge on the doctor's radar.
Well, I think it's very important to convey not only the benefits of these programs to the patients as you're talking to the physicians. I mean, I know everyone's used to talking about here's how your patients are going to benefit, here's the type of revenue that you guys could potentially be making from this program. But I think it's important to really kind of paint the entire medical landscape right now as it pertains to insurance reimbursement, and to reiterate some of the things that you just brought up in terms of what the climate is like for patients, what physicians are going to be seeing in 2017, and how they can position themselves to minimize their risk and maximize their outcome into their financial outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, physicians are constantly challenged. They've got things coming at them from all sides. If you look at what they've got to learn each year, especially with technology advancing, what we can learn about disease states and patient management, and then dealing with how to use new functionality of perhaps an EMR system or new equipment. The increasing demands that patients are wanting to know more because they've got more information at their own fingertips, and then they're looking to their physicians to be able to give them that information as well. So, they probably go home feeling like they've been through the tumble dry every day, I'm sure. So anything that you can do as a sales rep that makes their job easier, and just go in with that empathy that you are there to help save them time and make them money, will certainly prick up a physician's ears, because they just have so much to have to think about on a daily basis.
Well, that's why they weed out people like me. I don't make it into medical school. I'm not smart enough to keep these things in my head. So this is what they're paid for. They're paid to be smart, and they're paid to keep all this information in their heads. So,
Yeah,
so Viv, long story short, you bullish or bearish on 2017 as it pertains to medical ancillaries?
Well, I guess I have to say, with the political changes, I don't know how much that's going to affect the health space moving forward, because they can't just throw the Affordable Care Act in the bin overnight. Oh, in the trash, I should say. Sorry, it's my Australianism slipping in there. But I don't know. I'm kind of bullish, I think. So
I'm very bullish as well. I think it's just
Yeah.
a matter of taking a step back and looking at where the trends are going, and just focus on. I think it's Abraham Lincoln said, it's easiest to ride a horse in the direction it's already going.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with
absolutely.
that. Don't beat your head against the wall trying to sell some out-of-network things that is going to be fraught with. Looks good on paper, but there's all sorts of hassles with it. Go with the stuff that's the easiest to sell, that's going to fit within the trends.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Well, Mike,
Thank you, Viv.
have a great Christmas.
You too, and Merry Christmas to everyone, and thank you for listening.